Hello friends, this video on acid and base part 11 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. Before watching this video, please make sure that you have watched part 1 to part 10. Let's take this thing. We have learned acid and base, and we have learned a lot of difference between acid and base. Now it's time to learn what is common between acid and base. Both conduct electricity. To do this activity, what you can do is you can do a setup like this, where this is a wooden thing which won't connect electricity. Put the nails, put the wire, put the battery, put the setup. Now put acid in one case, maybe HCl, and you'll see that it conducts it. The bulb glows. The bulb glows. That means the circuit is complete. What complete the circuit? This thing. That means this acid is conducting electricity. Then if you remove the acid, put the base, then also you'll find that this bulb glows. Why the bulb glows? Because the circuit is complete. And what completes the circuit? The sodium hydroxide or any base which you have taken in this complete circuit. That means any acid or base, it conducts electricity. Correct? To find this is very simple. You have this bulb. You put the positive end here, negative end here, right? And you put this in the battery. And then you have this kind of setup. You don't put anything. Now you put acid and you see that it starts conducting electricity and the bulb glows. That means the circuit is complete. That means there is something that is the charge is flowing from here to here. But here nothing is there except this acid. Then we can say that acid is conducting electricity. You can repeat the same experiment with the base and we'll find that this bulb glows with base also. That means base also conducts electricity. You can do this experiment in your lab. Now the question is, what happens to an acid or base in a water solution? So acid generates H plus ion and base generates OH minus ion in the water solution. You put that in water solution, it generates H plus, that is acid generates H plus and base generates OH minus ion. And please note, all base will not dissolve in water. Alkali is the base that dissolves. We have done that. Only alkali dissolves in water. So alkali is the substitute of base that dissolves in water. So example is this is the acid. Here we have put water. If you see that, what you have got is H3O plus plus Cl minus. So in this case, if you see that, you have got this H plus ion, right? This is H plus ion here. In case of base, if you put base with water, if you see that, you got OH minus ion plus water. Anyway, you will get here. So it becomes NaOH, and here this becomes H plus and Cl minus actually. Correct? So in a water or aqueous solution, if you put acid, it gives H plus ions, free H plus ions, and when you put the base in water, the alkalis which are soluble in water, it gives OH minus. So now the question time. The question time is, why does an aqueous solution of a acid conduct electricity? So we know that for acid or anything to conduct electricity, you should have free ions, right? So anything that has free ions will conduct electricity. Correct? Free ions or free electrons will conduct electricity. So if you see, the moment you put this guy HCl to water, any acid to water, it gives ions, right? These ions are responsible for conducting electricity. Same thing, you take pure water, it won't conduct electricity. But the moment you put salt, common salt in the pure water, you get Na plus and Cl minus ion in water. And these ions make them good conductor. So if you take pure water, you try to conduct electricity, it won't conduct. The moment you add this salt, NaCl, it gives ions, it conducts electricity. Same thing, you take pure water, actual pure water, it won't conduct electricity. But the moment you put acid in this, it gives H plus and Cl minus ions, and these ions are responsible for conduction of electricity. Correct? And if you want to understand more on this, We'll watch a physics chapter on current electricity where we've explained how this ions helps in conducting electricity, because electricity is nothing but electrons, right? So for electrons to carry, they need a carrier. They need a carrier. So this carrier is ions or free electrons itself. So in case of metals, all copper, zinc and all the metals, they have free electrons in them. They conduct electricity. In case of wood and all, they don't have free electrons. They don't conduct electricity. So in case of water, they don't have free electrons. But when you add acid or salt to water, right, it gets this ions in this, and these ions are responsible for conduction of electricity. The second question is gone. I have used the space, but I can just tell why the dry HCl doesn't change the color of litmus. That means we have this dry HCl, and HCl I'm saying is an acid, but this is dry HCl. Please note this is dry HCl in the gas form. Why it doesn't change the color of litmus paper? As I told that for anything to change the litmus color, it has to be acidic. That means it should have H plus ions, right? Dry HCl is not having H plus ion. The moment you put this dry HCl in water, then only it gets the H plus ion, and then it becomes acidic in nature. But dry HCl is not having H plus ions. Since it is not having H plus ions, it is not acidic. It doesn't have acidic property, and so it will not change the color of litmus paper. But the moment you add this in water, this gives HCl H plus ions, and this H plus ion is responsible for the acidic nature of this HCl, and it becomes acidic. Hope you understand this. Dry HCl is a gas form, and it doesn't have this H plus ion freely available. It's all bonded with the ionic bond, and you can't break it. The moment you put in water, it breaks, because water is a covalent bond actually. I mean, it is something like this. It is slightly positive and not positive, and this is like negative. So I mean, we'll explain this why it is like why this compound breaks in ions in case of water in class 11, where we'll see that water, if you see the water molecule, it is slightly positive here and slightly negative here. So it has some charge. So the Na plus comes on this side, Cl minus comes on this side, breaks. There is a reason why it breaks. We'll learn all things in class 11, but just understand for timing is you put any salt in water, it breaks into ions. You put any acid in water, it breaks into ions, and thus it conducts electricity. Why it breaks in water, we'll learn in class 11. Thank you. Visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thanks once again.